Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Thomas Partey has been confirmed to stay in London ahead of AFCON. It means Ghana will be without Thomas Partey, according to the official statements released. Thomas Partey is still recovering, and Ghana have decided that they will not hinder that process. They'll actually leave him for Arsenal to handle that. Now, that is a massive story because we know Thomas Partey is closer and closer to getting back to full fitness. We know that he's, he will be available starting probably the Crystal Palace game. He might be available starting the Crystal Palace game. And him not going to AFCON, that is a big story. I want your reactions. I want your thoughts on this one. Does that mean that we don't need a midfielder anymore? Does that mean that Thomas Partey coming in will improve this side? Because our midfield literally needs a player. It needs a new addition. But Partey is good, and we know he's always been very, very reliable when he has been fit and on the pitch for Arsenal as well. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and I want your thoughts there in the comment box below. So this is a breaking story right from Fabrizio Romano, confirming that Thomas Partey has not been included in the Ghana squad for AFCON. He is staying in London to recover from his injury. More information that I've seen shows that Thomas Partey's injury is actually a big one, and that decision has been communicated to Ghana in that light. The decision for him to stay at London Colony, for him to stay in London, has been communicated to Ghana, given the fact that they think, the people at Arsenal and the people close to Partey, he is actually going through a very rough period and is actually recovering from a very rough injury. I have seen the images of Thomas Partey recovering. I have seen some images of him in the gym. I don't think he's far away from coming back. I don't think he's a month away or he's 2 months away. The biggest time period that I think he will spend out on the sidelines could be 2 weeks, could be probably 3 weeks. And I tell you what, the next 3 weeks, Arsenal are not playing any football. So we will not play any football from now until the 7th, when we play Liverpool, obviously, in the FA Cup. So it's not Premier League football. We will not play football until the 20th of January, when we take on Crystal Palace. And that is enough time for Thomas Partey to recover. That's enough time to give Thomas Partey that bit of time. And when we play Crystal Palace, however much I respect Roy Hodgson and Palace as well, I think Thomas Partey, again, that is a game we can do without Thomas Partey. That is a game we can win comfortably without Thomas Partey being in this side. So, listen, it's a big story and it's a major update for Mikel Arteta. First and foremost, we are scrambling for midfield options. We're looking at Zubimendi, who is literally unrealistic in January. You can't sign Amadou Onana this January as well. We are looking at loan options, but who are you going to sign on loan? How many clubs are willing to give you their best player, their decent player on loan in January? There are not so many, right? So the biggest option and one of the most viable options is to focus on Thomas Partey. If he can recover and get back in the side, get back into the midfield alongside Rice, alongside Martin Odegaard, it could be all we wanted. It could be all we need. So I think in light of Ghana, it's a bad story. It's a wretched story. Ghana fans will be fuming. Ghana fans will be sad, about him not joining up AFCON. And of course, the manager has been saying he's one of our most important players when he's fit. He's one of the most trusted midfielders we have in the side. But we cannot do anything about it right now. He's going through a rough period. He's going through a rough recovery. We can't be this selfish, okay? We can't be this, we can't think about ourselves alone. Let's think about the player. Let's protect the player as well. And that's what Arsenal have done. I'm happy with the decision. That's what Arsenal have done. We have always needed Thomas Partey. There was a time when we played Man City. There's a time when we played Liverpool. In all those scenarios, we actually needed Partey. But we chose to protect him. We chose to give him ample time, enough time to rest. And right about now, right until now, I can confirm that Thomas Partey is recovering and Ghana will not have him. So, does this change my opinion about the midfield? Absolutely not, right? I don't think you get Partey levels. I don't think you get Partey quality in January. There are not so many players that you can get and can cover for Thomas Partey. Even if it's Jorginho himself, I don't think Jorginho is as good as Thomas Partey, as reliable as Thomas Partey, and as physical as Thomas Partey as well. So one of the reasons that's why we're suffering, we lack a brave player like Partey, breaking through the midfield, defensive lines and getting the ball into the inner layers of play, right? I think Partey is good at that, and when he comes back, we might see the best of Saka then. We might see the best of the likes of Gabriel Martinelli then. So I'm really happy with him, and I'm really happy that he comes back and he doesn't go through that January AFCON period, but we still need a midfielder. Right? We still need a midfielder. If you look at my transfer dream list, my dream midfielder was Ryan Sharkey. And that is the guy I wanted. That is the player I wanted in January in midfield. He's a 10/8 stroke winger, stroke striker, right? And he is Eden Hazard levels, not levels really, but he is Eden Hazard quality. That is his portfolio, that is his profile. Eden Hazard. And that is what exactly Arsenal are lacking. So get back Thomas Partey. It means you don't have to scamper around for options in defensive midfield. We can now go and sign a number 10, 8 winger, forward. Call it what you want. I don't know if Eden Hazard was a 10-8 or wherever, but you get the point. So you get Ryan Sharkey at Lyon. He will cost a bit. To be honest, he will cost a bit. I won't be surprised to see him going for around 45 million euros or even above that. But that is where Arsenal have to focus. We need to get a player that can take players out of the game. We need to get a player that can drive bodies out of the way. That is what we are lacking. This passing, sideways and sideways and sideways and sideways, it's not working. Even when Partey comes back, I think Arsenal will still need a sharper midfielder. Imagine having Ryan Sharkey in midfield alongside Declan Rice, Partey and Martin Odegaard. That's a crazy midfield. And the good thing with Ryan Sharkey is that you can play him left wing, just like Emil Smith-Rowe, and he will be tacking inside as a left midfielder, as well as going outside as a left winger as well. So I'm really happy with the news. I'm really happy with the news. That gives us options. That gives us areas to focus on that are more urgent. Are Arsenal really going to sign an 8/10? I mean, that's going to depend really. That will depend on the ambition, on the budget and everything we can do. But at the moment, we have some bright news on the table. We have some bright news on the tablet, and that notification that Partey doesn't go for AFCON is going to be very, very, very crucial. So Thomas Partey staying at Arsenal in January means two things for me. One, you've got to think about him going in January, which is something that we're hearing in reports and rumors that Arsenal would be willing to sell Thomas Partey in the January transfer window together with Jorginho to trigger the release clause of Martin Zubimendi. But I think the most important part of this story is Arsenal have the opportunity now to go and focus on other areas which we are very, very short. So you could think about the defense, you could think about the wingers, you could think about the striking force as well. Can we go and do all these other deals? Because now Partey is there. You have an extra player, you have an extra midfielder, coming back in January, and he won't be representing in the AFCON. So I think, for me, most importantly, Arsenal need to keep him, right? It's as simple as that. Listen, I've said that you could sell him because he's unreliable and all that, but are you going to get his levels? Are you going to get his quality in the transfer window? Honestly, not. You're not going to get Thomas Partey quality and levels in this January transfer window. So you keep him until the summer. When it comes to the summer, I don't want to listen to any stories. If we get a good offer, we've got to let him go. We've got to find a durable player. We've got to find a player that suits Mikel Arteta's needs and tactics better, but a little bit more durable. Someone who can play the whole season. Someone who can be there for 38 games. Someone who can be there for 30 games, consecutively. That is not Thomas Partey. Although it pains me to say it, he is not Partey. That is not the guy that's going to be there for a very long period of time. So what do we focus on right now if it is not the midfield? Partey comes back. Arsenal have the midfield ready to go. What do we focus on? Number one, let's get in a striker. So the problem is there, and we've talked about it on this channel, and I'm going to talk about it right until the end of the transfer window. Go and get a striker. If you have Partey and Rice and Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard in the midfield, yeah, that's enough firepower. That's enough midfield, reinforcement to keep you cooking until the end of the campaign. So go and get a striker so that when you create a couple of chances, so that when you are in these clutch moments, you have someone to turn to. You have someone that can actually, finish up the chances. Someone that can take up the chances that are being created. And this is where it becomes interesting. We don't have a lot of money, but we have a chance to sell. So if Arsenal can go out there and splash around 20-30 million on a striker, we will get one. I think Hugo Ekitike could come in for around 25-30 million euros. You could get in Sagi Girassi at around 17 million euros. All those options are out there, and they're now, it's an advantage. It's an advantage that we don't want to sign a midfielder. It's an advantage that one of our best midfielders is back in the side. So I think now top priority, striker. The second priority, like Mikel is actually saying at the moment, is defenders. So if the manager says he is short, Tomiyasu is going out with Japan in January. So that is something to consider. And then you have Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Kivio as the only defenders available. Zinchenko is injured, and we know that Ben White has been playing with a knock, to some extent. So you just need one player, either a fullback or a centre back. Like I said, for me, Osmond Diamonde is a good shout. Jarell Hato at Ajax is a very good shout, and the likes of Nico Scholtebach, the likes of Matthias de Ligt, all those are nice shouts. I do not even care. Just get in one of those. So if we can fix the defense and fix our striker situation at the moment, we might actually be able to come back. We might be able to, create, some kind of a comeback, although it's going to be very, very difficult. And then the wingers, right? I saved this last part of the video for the wingers. So we have a well-functioning midfield. But let's ask ourselves the question, where is the team really failing? Are we creating chances? Yes, we are. Are we scoring goals? No, we are not. Where did most of our goals come from last campaign? We had 14 from Saka and 15 from Martinelli. That was 29 goals last season. In this campaign alone, Gabriel Martinelli, I think, has 2 goals in the Premier League, and Saka has 6 goals in the Premier League. That is 8 goals halfway the campaign. That is simply not good enough. That is not even half of what both of them scored combined last season. So for me, Arsenal have got to wake up. You need players that are sharp. You need sharp wingers. You need players that can take on players. You need players that can take on defenders. Players that are not afraid. And then you've got to rotate these players. Now, as I record this, there is a story going around that we might have an injured Bukayo Saka. Saka has been playing with a recurring Achilles injury, right? So if Saka is playing with a recurring Achilles injury, do we first wait for him to break? Do we first wait for him to break down? I don't think so, right? So for me, Partey coming back again exposes us to a whole unit of opportunities, a whole range of chances for us to wake up and go, this is the chance. This is the time that we take our opportunity. We don't sign a midfielder in January. Therefore, let's look for a winger. Let's look at maybe Ryan Sharkey at Lyon. Maybe let's look at Michael Olise at Crystal Palace. He's just signed a new deal, but you never know what could come out of trying. Maybe let's focus on anyone, right? On anyone, as long as they're a decent winger and they can take on players. If Saka is playing with an injury and the roughest of times is not coming yet, we've got to wake up. We've got to wake up, and the wake-up call is right about now. So for me, I'm really, really glad to hear that Thomas Partey is nearing his return. I'm also glad to hear that he's not going to be stressing out during AFCON. that means he will be one of the most energized players when he comes back into this Arsenal team. And again, he's one of those players that we have seen when he comes back from injury, he comes back firing. So he doesn't take a lot of time to adapt to this and that, you know, the lack of game time, the lack of match fitness. He comes back, he's firing right away, and yeah, everything gets back to normal. Let me know in the comment box below. What do you think about this story? Arsenal have Partey back, but Ghana will not have him, right? And that means probably Crystal Palace, probably Nottingham Forest in February. We will have him, right? Even if he just comes back against Liverpool in the second leg of the Premier League, even if he just comes back in time for the FC Porto game, that will be enough. That will be vital, because we might have to focus on cup competitions now rather than the league. The league seems like it's sailing away peacefully, surely, but slowly but surely. It's sailing away. What Arsenal have to do now is to focus on that one thing that matters. It's the Champions League, right? Can we go and challenge these guys? I think we can. There is no reason as to why Arsenal cannot be on the leaderboard for the Champions League. There's no reason as to why we are not favorites for the Champions League. Every other team in this competition is trying to figure it out, right? Many clubs are better than us. I think Madrid are better than us, pedigree-wise and all that, and experience. But I still think you have your best players back. Champions League, here we come. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to this channel, and I will keep the conversations coming your way very, very surely.